Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. If I haven't said it before or given homage before, to all 103 of my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. We're continuing with Our Life Beginnings and Always since we have the new DLC finally came out on the 7th of this month. And I've been really looking forward to getting it and sharing it with you guys. And that's why I'm continuing with it. Once I'm done with this, I can go back to doing Camp Buddy and Sensations for you guys. But in the meantime, let's get started with my favorite visual novel, which is Our Life Begins and Always. This has been my favorite. My second favorite so far, of course, is Camp Buddy, and in Sensations, I would have to say falls in third. But the uncensored parts of Sensations would be on the top number one of my list. I would say it's even better than Camp Buddy. And if you guys want to receive any copy of uncensored videos that I make, you must go to my Patreon account and become a Patreon contributing member, either on the $9 tier or the $25 tier. Both of those are set up for adult content. Once you become a member on either one of those, you can go to the comment section and post in there what videos you'd like to receive, and post your email address so that I can send a copy to you via email. And once you all become a member of my Patreon, I will acknowledge your name at the end of every video to show appreciation for becoming a Patreon contributor, member on my Patreon. And remember, all the funds that go to Patreon go to help the community of charities, worthy charities that need the funds so desperately. So you be doing good karma, good thing, helping out the community of charities that need the money. It's all good. And to find the link to my Patreon, you can find that in the description area just below the video. So let's get started here. I think we have to log on to okay. Log on here. So log on to Steam, since I got this through Steam. No caps. I don't need all caps. There we go. Yeah, it's a good thing my password is, you can't see it, so otherwise I would have done this earlier, so sorry about that. Okay. Make sure I got this right here. Yep, okay. Okay, I gotta go back here a little bit. And see. Okay. That. And see. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta turn this thing off here. What's going on here? Hello. Okay. All right. Yep. There it is. Okay. Okay. Now let's see if we can get it. It's taking forever to load. Why? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, this is where we left off. So far, I've noticed that there's a difference between this, because there's a lot more added stuff compared to the beta version, or I would call it more like the full screen. They call it the beta version. I would call it like more of a demo version, to say the least. In that, they just went through part of the planning phase of the wedding, and they didn't do very much other than that. So this is some more added stuff, and it's good that they did this. Added more to this. There's going to be more to the story, and that's a good thing. Okay, get my keyboard out here. Alrighty. Grab something to drink here real quick. Hair on my face. Okay. Your first visit for the day, Cove wanted to ask his father to be his best man, and you'd be there for him. Cove's newly outstretched hand was halfway to the doorknob when he paused uncharacteristically. I think that's how it's pronounced. Actually, I'm gonna knock. Why? You used to live here. You're his son. Come on. What? Why? Now of all of a sudden. I mean, I know you don't live in this neighborhood anymore. We don't live in this neighborhood anymore. But still, you're his son, your family, come on. I mean, if you want to lock the door, he should just give you a key to come in whenever you want it. You need to. Because this is serious business, and he'll be happy to see us that he won't see the real surprise coming. Okay. Wow. I think he'll love that. The warmth intensified in Cole's expression. His hand changed direction, and he gave the door two firm knocks. What about a doorbell? Is there a doorbell in there? I don't know. It didn't take Mr. Holden long to answer the door. His initial shock quickly melted into a cheery grin.
Come on.
Hey, come in. His attention block bounced back and forth between you and Cove as he moved aside to let you stroll on in. Okay. Hey, Dad, how are you?
Great.
I'm great, sport. Cool. Well, Cove startled bashfully, staring down at his feet, rubbing the back of his neck. You know just how important this was to him. He took a deep breath and didn't wilt under his dad's growing concern.
So,
Chippy and I were thinking about the wedding, and I realized that I needed to ask you about something. I'm all ears, son. Whatever you need, I'm your guy. Cove swallowed nervously and nodded. Then the concerns of his mouth started to perk up. I was wondering if you might be alright, be my best man in the wedding party. Mr. Holden slammed a hand to his chest, clutching his heart. You waited for any kind of sign of life. A part of you wasn't even sure if he was breathing until he finally gasped in a lungful of air.
Are you sure?
Cove, you don't have to do that. Cove's brows bent up, but his delicate smile grew wider. Nobody is forcing me. This is what I want.
That's...
Dad, you've always supported me, though through the good and the bad. For my whole life, you've taken care of me. His expression was earnest as he stepped forward, your chest swallowed with pride, listening to Cove's honest plea. Why would I want somebody else to be my best man? Completely touched, Mr. Holden grasped his son by the shoulders and then wrapped him in a hug. Cove embraced him just as tightly and rested a cheek on his dad. There's nothing in this world that would stop me from being there for my boy.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dad. Sniffling, Cove's voice came out softly and laden with emotion. With teary eyes, Mr. Holden instinctively reached an arm out to you. You join them. That simple invitation simply had your vision clouded with tears. The Holdens felt like family to you. And right now, it really settled in how much all of you were now, without question, family. Yep, he's going to be our father-in-law. It's a good thing we get along, too, because most in-laws don't get along. From what I've heard in history. So it's very rare if you have an in-law that you can get along with. Instantly forward, you let yourself be pulled into their loving embrace. You clung onto them both. Finally, Cliff pulled back, letting his shaking form settle again. Well, I'm sure you're both busy, so I won't keep you. Miss Holden crossed his arms. Despite the misty eyes, he beamed, taking in sight of you in Cove. But I really appreciate you both coming by, and I'm around if either you ever need anything. Appreciate that. Thanks, and yeah, we need to invite the rest of the wedding party before we see the wedding planner later. You were our very first stop today. Mr. Holden managed and brightened even more hearing that. Cove shyly nodded and rubbed his arm.
Nice work.
Very good. You're being so responsible. I won't hold you up on your way. Thanks, again. I guess we're on to the next stop. You glanced over at Cove. He nodded, surely, and you felt Cummings' surge of confidence. Have fun spreading the good news. We will. We will. Bye, Dad. See you soon. Got junk in my eye. The sun was warm on your skin as you left Mr. Holden's house. Stretching your arms overhead, you pivoted to Cove, feeling refreshed. Ready?
Come on.
Yep, let's go. Your lips twisted into a teasing grin. Cove arched an eyebrow. You think we need to hike back to the car for this peerless trek across the street? It's a dangerous journey, I'm told. Cove snorted and shook his head. The effort was exerting not to laugh made you snicker. You couldn't have been more pleased with your life. Stepping up to the condo, you rang the doorbell and waited. The longer you stood there, the stranger you felt. Because this still felt like your own door, the expression on your face pinched together oddly, but it was short-lived as your mom swung the door open and validated your thoughts. Hello, oh, sweeties. Welcome home. She eagerly ushered you both inside towards the living room. Ma went over to the hall and cupped a hand to the side of her mouth to be heard in the other room. Pam, come see our guest. Mom curiously peeked out of the bedroom door. When she realized who it was, she beamed and gave you a little wave. Hey, kiddos. Hi. Hi, I missed you both. Your mom's expression softened. Mom joined you all in the living room, standing aside Ma.
How are you?
What can we do for you today? We've been working on some wedding preparations, and we were hoping to include you in that.
Oh?
I wonder what that could mean. Ma raised an amused eyebrow and turned to Ma shyly. Cove glanced at you, wordlessly asking for you to take the lead here. Mom and Ma, would you either of you want to be part of the wedding? Cove and I were hoping that Mom would be maid of honor for me, and Ma would be a groom attendant for me.
Of course.
Of course. There's no doubt that they would go through with that. They would do that, of course. They're both our moms. Ma excitedly looked from you to Mom, then back again. She was thrilled. If you want me as a groom attendant, then I will be. All I want is to be there for my wonderful child's very special day. Mom observed you both closely for a moment. She then proudly put her hands on her hips and nodded prudently. I think that's how it's pronounced. You can leave it up to me, Chippy. I still can't quite believe my kid is all grown up and getting married. It boggles my noggin in the best way. If I can best support you as a maid of honor, well, there isn't anything else that I would wish for. A small relieved sigh took away from the remaining worries twisted in your gut. That went even better than you thought it would. A silly sweet grin spread ear to ear on Mom as she swayed gently where she stood. She peeked at Mom.
Nice.
I can't believe it. I'm the same party as Naomi. Nolani, excuse me. That's so exciting. Oh, hello, miss. It's nice to see you here. How long have you been at this lovely party? Mom placed a hand over her heart. She spoke. They both had pink cheeks from laughter, pretending they were hanging out together at an actual event. Everything was so much sweeter knowing that your moms were thoroughly enjoying this. Smiling on Cove out of the corner of your eye, you caught the fondness he excluded, watching you in return. He seemed just as pleased with your mom's reactions.
In that case?
Okay, well, we'll let the two of you go about the rest of your planning. Thank you so much for surprising us with this. Mom brushed back her hair, observing both of you affectionately. Mom nodded in agreement. You've got a lot to do, but I'm sure you'll be able to hack it. Hack it? Raising an eyebrow, you put your hands on your hips. Cove grinned, already amused with where your train of thought was going. We're going to knock it out of the park with flying colors. We're going to put together the best wedding anyone has ever seen. You know what, Chippy? I believe you. You're always amazing. Thanks. We'll be back around soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. The tips of Cove's ears were red, but he did the best to be unruffled under your mom's stares. He nodded with a warm smile. Bye. Goodbye. See you around. After that, your moms walked you to the door. You and Cove stepped out into the neighborhood, ready to tackle the next task on your to-do list. With one last glance around the neighborhood, you slightly said goodbye. There was so much more to do today, and that would require hitting the road again. Humming yourself, you watched Cove bring the car towards the city. Your next visit would meet up with Terry and Miranda in their neck of the woods. You couldn't wait. You did tell them in advance that the wedding planning was bringing you and Cove out that way, so your friends were expecting you today. But as far as you knew, they didn't have any idea what you were preparing to ask. Pulling into the parking lot along the street, Cove was in high spirits. He eagerly hopped out of the car. You caught up to him with light steps. You weren't that far from the car when you heard a familiar, friendly shouts nearby. You spotted Terry and Miranda running along the brick path to meet you and Cove halfway. This is where we went and saw the fireworks here. We saw the fireworks here. And then we got to see Shiloh, who was visiting with some classmates of his. So, yeah. Okay. So, I guess they live in this area. Terry, Miranda. They probably like have a condo or townhouse or something like that. Because that's what it looks like. There's some townhouses or apartments or whatever.
Hey, buddies.
Terry. Hey, buddies. Oh, hey, buddies. It's good to see you. Randy, Terry. You darted over to their direction. Chuckling, it was Cove's turn to hurry back to your side. He gave your friends a wide wave when he caught up. I missed you two. Hey, thanks for coming down, Chippy. And I have something to talk to you. Chippy and I have something to talk to you about. It's really nice to be able to do it in person. Neither of them darted to interrupt, but Terry and Miranda did share a silent look. They both seemed eager to know the details. Terry, could you be a groomsman in the wedding party?
Finally!
Yes, I made the cut. Of course you're going to be invited and you're going to be part of the party. Thrilled, he threw a satisfied fist in the air. Terry's grin stretched ear to ear. Does that mean you accept? Let me think. At this point, you didn't have a single doubt in your mind, so you were willing to follow along with Terry's playful deliberation. He leisurely crossed his arms. Bowing your head, you pressed the palms of your hands together to silently beg. Miranda teasingly elbowed Terry when he didn't respond right away. Alright then, I do accept. So you're just teasing. Hey, he's just teasing us. He was going to accept. He was going to do it, of course. I'm a groomsman, and you can't take it back. Let's set it in stone. Of course.
I mean,
We could take it back. No, Cove. Stop it. No. Cove snickered, leaned towards you. And Cove's attention moved to Randy. You watched your eagerly in anticipation. Excuse me. Miranda eyed. It'd be great if you could be a groomswoman in my party. Asked, and that's Cove asking, of course. Her eyes darted from Cove to you, to Terry, and then back to Cove again. Before she believed that this was all actually happening.
Thanks.
Yeah, accept. Thank you so much. That would be wonderful. Terry cheered again, pulling Miranda in for a one-arm side hug. Cove put a hand to his chest and let out a small sigh of relief. Go Team Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Team Cove forever.
hey!
Hey, Chippy's party is just as good. I'm marrying Chippy, remember? We like him. Of course. You already said Team Cove. Yeah, I'm going to pick number 3. I think we're all one big team. Yeah, exactly. A warm blush rose in your cheeks at the sincerity in Cove's voice. Terry and Miranda turned to each other, and smirked. Team Chippy and Cove's wedding forever. Terry put his hands on his hips and nodded sagely. Sagely? I think that's how it's pronounced.
Agreed.
That's true, Randy. Seriously, thanks for this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's super nice to include us in the wedding parties. Of course. We couldn't imagine the wedding any other way. Thanks for meeting up with us today. It's nothing, but you'll probably have to get going now, Rala. Yeah, we have a meeting with the wedding planner pretty soon. The Baxman, huh? With a curt shake of his head, Cove rolled his eyes, completely unamused. Miranda's brow furrowed. Wait, I thought you were joking when you mentioned that. Is he really planning your wedding? He is. Wow. Oh, wow.
Preposterous.
I remember when we were all here watching free-range fireworks. Now you are getting married and Baxter is the one planning it. Preposterous. It's definitely something, but that's what we're doing, and we're going to go do it now. Cole's awkwardly rubbed his arm. Understanding, Terry gave a thumbs up. Safe travels. Bye. Have fun. Next time you see us, we'll have more wedding planning, so be ready. Bye. Terry and Miranda remained on the walkway while you and Cove returned to the car. When you were alone again, you spoke up. That was good. Yeah. He wasn't facing you, but you could still admire the happy curve of his lips. It was nice to visit with your friends for a little while, and it was even better to have another thing set for the big day. With a determined stare, Cove pulled his phone out and plugged Baxter's office into the GPS map. Once it was all set, he put the car in drive, and you both were on your way once more. While Cove drove, you pulled your phone out and scrolled through your contacts list. The rest of this task would have to be done long distance, so you turned the speaker up and made the call. Calling your big sister, you set the phone to speaker. You were already expecting the inevitable jokes she'd have up her non-sleeves. Hello, Chippy. What do you need to inform me of? Hi, to you too, Liz. Oh, hi, Cove. This is going to be good. Liz's intrigued tone became teasing, realizing she was on speaker. I guess you can't even pretend to have a normal conversation first.
No.
You're planning a wedding. You have to have something in the works by now. You could tell by the way Cove quietly took a deep breath. He was conflicted in your gut. You knew he wanted to embellish her and shake his head, but she wouldn't see that. I'm going to be nice about it. It's always nice to talk to you, Liz. I know, I'm delightful. And Cove and I were hoping that you'd be a groom's attendant for me. I knew it. The only reason you both would be calling like this would be to ask something like that. Yeah. You're very clever for cracking the case. That's correct. It makes sense, of course. You'd request me to be involved with the wedding. Liz cracked up over the line. She needed some time to collect herself, but when she did, she spoke much more earnestly this time.
Thank you.
But that aside, honestly, I love to be your groom's attendant. Thank you so much for having me. I wish we could have done this in person. Thanks, Liz. I know, I won't let you down, little brother. I'm glad that you're going to be part of this too, Liz. It's natural that you would be. You'd been there all along, for better and worse.
Rude.
Rude, but fair. I'm looking forward to it. Cool. We gotta go do more wedding things. Talk to you later. Keep me updated. Bye. Bye, Liz. With that, you could happily check your box off to-do list. That was another invitation sent and anticipated. Taking a deep breath, you pulled up the contact for the next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. Eagerly, you wanted your cousin to pick up. Cove noticed out of the corner of his eyes that you positioned the phone a little further away than normal. He nodded in agreement with that decision.
Hi.
Hey, Chippy. How's the wedding planning going? Any news? Here we go. Despite the amused tone, Cove still held the wheel more tightly, bracing for the volume of coming conversation. Lee was clearly already excited for any potential scoop. Oh, was that Cove? Hi, Lee. She uncharacteristically remained silent after the greetings, waiting potentially for what this was about. Hey, Lee, can I ask you something? Well, will you be a groom's attendant in my wedding party?
Really?
Ah. Chuckling, you could feel Cove's affectionate gaze on your skin. It was easy for both to imagine the way Lee must have been vibing with wedding energy as she let her enthusiasm spill out lawlessly over the phone. Lee's cheering was exactly what you wanted to hear. Eventually, she called and ended to her mini celebration when she was forced to pause to take a deep breath. You leaned over to and spoke out of the side of your mouth towards Cove. That was definitely a yes. Sounded like one to me, too. Totally yes. I'm in. You know I am. Yes.
Aww.
I'm still stunned about everything. My cousin is getting married. This is going to be so amazing. Thank you, Lee. We appreciate the support. That's what family is for. I'm always just a phone call away. Thanks, Lee. We have some more wedding-related things to do, so we'll pick this up again later. Works for me. Good luck with the planning, and I expect a detailed report face-to-face soon. Of course. Bye, Lee. Bye, Chippy. Bye, I'm still here. I never forget you. Bye. Enlarged, you hung up the... Energized, you hung up. Already awaiting the next time you'd see Lee in person, stretching your arms out. You pleasantly took in the word rolling out by the window. Taking a deep breath, you pulled up a contact for your next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. Staring at Kara's name, you hoped that she wasn't too busy. She luckily picked up only after a couple of rings. Hello, Chippy, and hello, baby. Hi, Mom 3.
Huh?
Hi, Mom. How do you know I was here?
Come on.
When are you ever far from Chippy? Especially with what's been happening lately? Ah, yeah. How are my best kids doing? Good, really good. Chippy and I actually have something that we wanted to ask you. Oh, I'm all ears. I was hoping that you'd be a groomswoman in my wedding party.
My baby.
Oh, my heart. Yes, of course. I'll be your groomswoman. You can count on me.
I'm so glad.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, that's what I'm here for. We have to keep going with more playing. But we'll talk to you later, okay?
Makes sense.
Good luck, my babies. And take care. I'll see you both again soon. Thanks again. Bye. Bye, Mom. Cove was elated when you ended the call. More successful invitation was checked off the to-do list. Taking a deep breath, you pulled up the contact for the next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. You didn't have to hover over Derek's name. You hit the call without another thought. He picked up before the second ring.
What's up?
Hey, it's Derek. How's it going? Hi, everything's great. Ah, Cove's there too. Talking to Derek always raised his spirits. You chuckled, watching Cove's grin widen. Hey, too, and Cove's right. Things are good.
Awesome.
Awesome. Did you both need to talk to me about something specific, or is this just for fun? Yeah, about that. Cove trailed off so that you could pick up the conversation up. I wanted to ask you if you could be a groom's attendant in my party.
Leave it to me.
Oh, hell yeah. Of course, I'd want to be in your party. All those times being a polite guest at your house worked out. I proved myself worthy such a position. A stuttering laugh fell from Cove at that. You know you could have ended up in my party. And that's why I was always a polite guest at your place too. The brain is a muscle I utilize. You never realize that I'm always thinking ahead. You could hear Derek snickering again over the line, but he soon settled down. Your cheeks were starting to hurt from smiling so much. Seriously, congrats again, you two. It means a lot to me that I'd get to be there with you though through this. Thanks for being there, Derek. I don't think we can thank you enough for all this. You were pretty sure that you had knocked him speechless. All you could hear over the line was some sniffles. You both felt fortunate to have such a good friend in Derek. Cove glanced at you with eyes full of affection before moving things along. So, that's what we're calling about. And now there's even more wedding planning to get to.
See you.
Well, I won't keep you. I'm glad you called. See you later. Yeah, you will. Bye. Bye, Derek. Bye. Leaning back in your chair, you finally put your phone away and slid your attention towards Cove with an easy smile. The high excitement was fading and leaving a comfortable tiredness in its place. But you wouldn't trade the joy and support you got today for anything. Cove gave a little cheer over your mutual success.
Yeah!
We did it. We have wedding parties. Cove didn't take his focus off the road, but you could hear every bit of relief in his voice. The corner of his mouth curved. I mean, I guess it's not exactly surprising that things went fine, but it's hard to act casual about any of this. I'm going to go with the last one. You put a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Cole stole a quick glance at you, sweetly. You didn't have to say a single word, because you both knew how much you shared in his settlement. This was a big, exciting deal, and you couldn't be happier to have Cove share this with. The tension in his body slipped away under your touch.
Alright.
Okay, let's hurry to Baxter's office. There's a whole rest of wedding to plan for. Right. And here we're back with Baxter in his office to do the day 2 of the planning. A new day and another visit to your new wedding planner came down to rushing river that was your life at this time. You, Cove, and Baxter were each settled into same spots at the appointment prior, but there wasn't any of that initial shock. Instead, things started off with a simple greeting. Hey, we have a wedding party now. Everyone we wanted accepted. Oh, you work faster than I do. Wonderful. I'll check it off and we can move fully forward. I hope you're excited. Yeah, I would say this, but I'm not going to. I couldn't be more. Cove sternly giggled over the conversation.
Me too.
Well, he pulled out his pen while crossing his legs in a fluid motion. Our company has its own in-house photographer for your event, so that's all taken care of. But there's the meal, catering, cake, and other dessert you want. I want a cake. Baxter coolly grinned at the abrupt interruption, unbothered. I'm sure you'll get your treat then. Along with those are the outfits for you both. and you'll naturally need to decide where the ceremony and reception will be held. If you're feeling unprepared to make a call on any of that, we could always start with the dance lessons. What are you feeling? Knowing where the wedding is going to be is pretty important to get done, but on the other hand, it's such a big thing. It's kind of intimidating to think about. Cove tilted his head back and forth, mentally working through his options on the matter. Baxter watched the struggle for the moment before bringing it back up. Chippy, any thoughts for your to-be husband? I'm going to go with the first one. We could decide venues now. It shouldn't be put off any longer.
Yeah.
Baxter rubbed his hands together and grinned at you.
Absolutely.
Alright, now we're getting serious. Cove gulped his Adam's apple briefly, retreating up to his chin as if afraid. But he nodded his assessment.
All right.
Chippy is right. We should decide this. His eyes met yours as he bobbed his head again. Let's do it. You sit up straight, tearing away from the comfort of the sofa's cushioning as you readied yourself for such a critical decision in your wedding preparation. Here we go. Good. There are stunning buildings in the area which used to be private locations but have since opened up specifically for wedding ceremonies for any couple who'd like to make use of them. Naturally, there are also plenty of commercial locations which can easily host a full-sized after party for your reception. His mouth twitched to a sly smile. Or if you prefer something outdoors, there's always the beach. He chuckled, fully aware that an obvious suggestion that was for his current clients. You could go for a spot that can host both parties, the wedding, so it's entirely one location. But there's no harm in making a little trip from the ceremony to the reception afterwards either. It's entirely up to you. He held up a hand, stopping himself mid-flow, but continuing to smile warily. But I don't wish to get carried away in a preamble. Where would you like us to start? He leaned in and not planning on missing one word. The hand which he'd held in the air now propping up his chin. Let's see. Can we figure out where the ceremony will be held first? Yeah. Excuse me. He bit his lip before speaking again. His voice was soft and sweet, but a little sheepish. That's the one I'm most excited about, too. Gladly. He relaxed back into his rolling chair, then put out a phone with one hand while extracting his pen with the other.
I can do that.
I've got photos of places I mentioned to let you actually get a feel for the scene. Baxter tapped away at his screen, pulling up previews of potential ceremony locations for your wedding. While he was practically preoccupied with that, he rattled off the specific kinds of locations you could use. So there's a few spots I'd like to show you. There's a mansion that was formerly privately owned, as well as a church, mosque, or synagogue in the same thing. There's the beach, as always, or perhaps a different outdoor spot. Cove's eyes darted to Baxter, back to you as he spoke up attentively. So, we're allowed to mention our own ideas for places? Baxter nodded amberly.
Certainly.
What did you have in mind?
Well...
He was looking down at his shoes as he spoke, taking a breath. He glanced over at you. There's the Poppy Hill. You grinned back at Cove. It made sense given its starting role in yours and Cove's shared story. Yeah, I mean, that's where we first met, and we've always hung out there a lot together. Cove, still flustered, returned your grin sheepishly. He was clearly pleased to see that you'd been happy with his suggestion. He turned back to Baxter. I told you about it. It was where we got engaged, and he swallowed. Oh yeah, that's where we proposed to each other. Yeah. And it's also where we first met, of course, as I mentioned.
That's sweet.
That's sweet. He tilted his head away and closed his eyes. I remember seeing it when I was there. Cole's gaze fixed on Baxter with rapt attention, waiting his verdict. It's rather small and round. Cove deflated, his shoulders sagging. Baxter opened his eyes again and continued. If you don't mind your guests having to stand, there's not room for chairs. We could still set up a simple ceremony there. Cove chuckled as he straightened up in his seat. It could be worse. The confidence had been restored to him, having Baxter take his suggestions seriously and even offer ways to accommodate it, had helped put Cove at ease. Then he checked over to you. We don't have to do it there, though. If it's poppies you want, there is another option.
Does that sound alright?
I know of a bigger flattened field of those poppies in the Sunset Bird area. It would be spacious enough to have a full setup there. Cove tilted his head, peered at the phone, generally intrigued by the news of another source of his favorite flower.
Oh?
Oh, that's cool. It did sound like it might be a quite stunning location. You begin considering the possibility. Good to hear. Then Cove jolted in his seat, his head snapping up as another idea came up to him. Are people allowed to have weddings or whatever in the redwood forests? Even though it's kind of farther away, it's an amazing place to be in. He drew his feet close to the sofa as he looked down, growing shy. We've made some special memories there. Baxter nodded surely. It's an option for certain spots. We could get it set up if you want. Cove grinned, delighted. Baxter spread his hands wide, holding the pen and his phone with his fingers so that you could see the palms of each hand.
Well,
Those are the ideas, it sounds like. Tell me what's standing out most for you. It's definitely got to be the poppy hill behind our house. I mean, that's where we first met. We proposed to each other. We've hung out there a lot together. It just makes sense. I mean, it's been pretty much a part of our lives together, starting out. And now we're going back there to have our wedding. Why not?
oh,
Ah. He lifted his head up from his phone to face you instead, a note of his amusement in his voice. I don't know how I have a photo for that. I do. Wonderful. Baxter leaned back in his seat, crossing his legs as he let Cove to manage the presentation of this one. You saw the trembling in Cove's fingers as he tapped through his gallery, looking for the photo of the hill. In spite of Baxter's eagerly show of support, he was still nervous about the idea. Even though you weren't looking at the screen, you know the instant he'd found the photo he'd been searching for. Just seeing the picture on his phone made him draw a deep breath through his nostrils. Yep, there it is. Cove held out his phone for everyone to see, and there it was. Your childhood self had been wrong. People could have heels, and that was yours, and it was his. It's... He started before drifting off. He tried again, pulling his thoughts and feelings into words as best he could explain it. It's our hill. It's not that impressive or even flat enough to put out chairs for guests, but we could get married there if you want to. Where we met, where we got engaged, where we spent our life growing up together. Yeah, and that's why I think it's a good idea to have the wedding there. It just makes sense. Cole's voice was sweet as he spoke, but his eyes were earnest and open. You knew what he was really asking was for your honest opinion, whether you'd want to get married there or not. I'm going to go with the first one, obviously. Cove, I think this is the one. Do you? Cove's eyebrows rose in response to your statement. The Poppy Hill? His eyebrows relaxed, sloppy gently as he smiled softly. I would love that. It'd be perfect for the two of us. Of course it would. And your body tried to grasp and laugh in excitement at the same time, resulting in a short breathing snort followed by an exhaled giggle. We're going to have a Poppy Hill ceremony.
Exciting.
That's exciting. He smiled indulgently, like a teacher allowing the class a moment of levity before bringing them back to their studies. Before you get carried away, there's still the reception location to consider. And I've already thought about this, but once we get to it, I'll point it out to the ideal to you guys, because I've already thought about this. When I went through the beta version, or I should say the actual demo, I would call it more of a demo version, but yeah. When the idea was brought up, I thought, yeah, that would be better than just having it at the beach. I mean, the beach is nice. We've been there a lot, but still, yeah. I think this other place is better. Baxter glanced down at his phone, nodding almost imperceptibly. I can't even pronounce that word. As he clicked away to get the information he needed. There's a couple of big halls you could consider, one of which is frequently used for dances and another for more formal events. There's also a large room in a historic mansion that could host the reception, the same one that I mentioned before. A rather new option was actually the aquarium in the city over which now was the bandwidth to host private events. Cove jaw dropped, and he uttered a single word.
Seriously?
Really? Really? It'd be the main display room, with the floor to the ceiling tanks. His mouth continued to hang open, his face frozen. It was certainly rare opportunity And he couldn't think of anyone who'd be excited by the option as Cove, such as the news had temporarily stunned him. All at once, he blinked rapidly, closing his mouth in a hurry. Your attention returned to Baxter. The aquarium was certainly an option to keep in mind, but there were many other appealing choices to consider.
Of course.
Or if you wanted something outdoors, there's always the beach, of course. And even if you don't want to use the redwood forest for your ceremony, it could also work for a reception. So you're welcome to keep it in mind as an option. Like before, if there's anything you want to bring up yourself, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I recommend it. He pursued his lips as he dug around his mind, pondering the possibilities. As a thought struck him, he shifted his face to you. What about the country club your moms are a part of? He snapped his fingers over and over, trying to dredge the name back to his tongue.
Right.
They had their anniversary dinner there. You know, the one. Oh yeah, the Cypress. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. By the way, you guys, I think it would be perfect. I mean, that's where me and Cove had our first date, and we tried our attempt at dancing. Wasn't all the best, but we had fun, and I mean, Cove had some of the some anxieties there, but he got over it, and we went back to dancing. So overall, it was a good time. And yeah, he's right. We did go to both our moms, or MC moms, anniversary dinner there. So I think that's the perfect place for our reception, and that's what I'm choosing. He closed his eyes, real furrowed deeply, as he tried to recall it. You were torn on whether or not to bail him out before you'd come to a decision. Baxter caught up on the field in the blanks. Oh yes, the Cypress, I believe. You nodded. Baxter returned the gesture as Cove opened his eyes again, looking both relieved and like victory had been swiped from under him.
It's doable.
They would absolutely be able to host your reception, especially since your family are already members. Cove beamed. It's cool if we go with one of the other things. I just thought it was an idea. I agree. It was a smart suggestion. I have no doubt that they do an excellent job if you chose them. But it's really what feels comfortable for you. Baxter leaned in, pursuing his chin on the knuckles of his left hand. He was still holding his pen and his phone ready to leap into action.
What do you think?
What's holding the most interest for you right now? We can talk it over. Yeah, I'm going with the Cypress Country Club. I know there's all these other options, but I mean, this is where me and Cove had our first date, so why not? It's a perfect place to have a reception and an area for where we can dance. So why not? A lot of it's mostly outdoors, so yeah. It's a perfect place. Master brought up the website for the Cypress and presented the screen to both of you. Though you'd been there many times with your family over the years, you still appreciated him making the effort. Having recent photos of it made it easier for you to eye it critically and consider what it would be like as a venue for your reception, rather than relying on the cloudy lens of nostalgia. Cove beamed, smiling smearedly at the picture. We had our first date there. Honestly, I couldn't believe it when you asked me. Yeah, I just thought that would be a good place to do it. He shifted his eyes away and responded, shudder. I was so bad at everything. It's amazing that I didn't ruin my chance with you after that night. We're gonna go with the first one. I don't think you could have managed anything to turn me away. Cove chuckled at the old memories. You sighed dreamily, remembering that night as clearly as if you had been yesterday. As clearly as it had been yesterday, rather than many years ago. You could still picture Cove's expression of determination as he worked his way through everything the buffet had to offer. Some things didn't change. The conversation distracted you. It was only when Cove raised an eyebrow at you instead in your take on the Cypress as a venue that you'd remember that there was a decision waiting to be made. Yeah, we're definitely going with this. Come on. I feel like it's going to work. What do you think, Cove? Cove lifted an eyebrow thoughtfully. The country club for our reception. His voice lifted lit it at the end of the through he was asking a question, but he didn't seem to expect an answer. Rather, it was through he was contemplating the feel of the words on his tongue, checking that they felt right as a final test. Cove broke into a grin. I think you're right. It would match with us for sure. Yeah, I think it's a perfect spot. Great for dancing. Great for reception. I think so. I mean, we could have the reception at the beach, but then how are you gonna dance in the sand? Come on, seriously. I know we've hung out there on the beach a lot, but still, we could always go back to the beach. But as far as having a reception there, I don't think so. Yeah, the Cypress would be the best place for this. You let out a sigh of satisfaction, pleased that Cove had come to the same conclusion that you had. You'd already begun visualizing your reception there and known it had to happen. The country club was definitely the right choice for the two of you. Your energy was mounting with the venues picked. Your idle daydreams of the big day moved from hazy imaginings to sharp clarity. The excitement radiated off of you into Cove. He pulled himself closer to you on the sofa, your legs brushing against each other. Sensing that his audience was becoming distracted, Baxter quickly spoke up. A sermon at the Poppy Hill and the reception at the country club after. Looking thoughtfully, Baxter tapped his pen against the side of the desk. Your eyes were drawn to the source of the noise. He tilted his hand if to tap, and once more the pen idly rolling between his finger and thumb, and then he smiled.
Perfect.
Sounds like a wedding. I'll make it happen. Cole spun hit to face you. His eyes all right with glee. You got your wedding locations. You felt a thumb of your heart beating in your chest. It was a thought so simple and yet so monumental that you were struggling to accept it all at once. You know where your wedding it was going to be. I'm going to go with the last one. You leaned over to kiss Cove's cheek. Your lips lingered to his skin for a moment, yet Cove was still flushed when you pulled away. The sudden display of affection had caught him by surprise. We're getting married, you cheered. With the most critical elements shorted. The big occasion was really coming together. Cole chuckled at your words. Gazing into his eyes, you knew that all that he could think about was the day you'd just taken another step towards planning. Reviewing the venue options had taken up the bulk of your allotted time with Baxter. He would now need to reach out to the location managers to make arrangements. So you came to the mutual agreement that you'd end it here and let him take care of the matters right away. Goodbyes followed when then you and Cove giddily left the office and spilled out into the street together. It was a great way to end that day's work. You and Cove arrived at Baxter's office a lot of time. Okay. Well, that was quick. Anyway. Well, I thought we were going to be driving home, but we just skipped all the way back to Baxter's office. All right. Well, I'm going to end it there because we've already done a lot today already. And we'll come back to it. Don't worry. Another time. So I'm going to save first. Save it. Right there. We'll save it right there. There we go. And thanks again for watching on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that like button and click the subscribe button for those of you who haven't done so already. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon account and check and become a Patreon contributing member. Again, all the funds that go there go directly to charity, so you'll be doing a good thing, helping out worthy charities, helping out the community, and it's good karma. So yeah. And of course, I will acknowledge your name at the end of every video to show appreciation for becoming a Patreon contributing member. And for those of you who also want to receive a copy of any uncensored videos that I make, you must become either a member on the $9 tier or the $25 tier on my Patreon. Either one of those are both set for adult content. Once you become a member on either one of those, you can go to the comment section, comment what videos you like to receive, and post your email just so that I can send them to you via email. So, and you can find the link to my Patreon within the description area just below the video. So, bye for now, and I will see you guys later.